enough to knock me out, but I'm still holding the throne. You never know till it's over. So pretty it hurts. Just beware of the thorns.
Hello YouTube. Well, I think today I'll continue on with my time of going through different prisons. In the last video I left off was in Potosi. So I think I got a couple stories from the next prison. But if you're new, subscribe if you like the prison content. If you like the way I do things. Share, hit that notification, and comment. I love all the comments, and I try to answer all of them. If I miss one, I apologize, and it may take me a while, and I apologize for that too, but I try to answer all of them. So I was in Potosi 2 years, and right after 9/11 they transferred me to Bowling Green. My level got dropped again. And they sent me to Bowling Green Northeast Correctional Center, and it's up in north of St. Louis. And the stories I'm going to tell about this is a couple of them, but the one that really was strange for me was we was allowed to have keys to our cells. So you and your cell, you each had a key. You can lock and unlock, Once you's in, both of you's in, they opened them. The showers, you didn't have a key for the shower, but you could close this middle door and lock yourself in. And I guess that's to prevent bad things from happening. I guess people from showering together, or maybe rapes, whatever. Like I said, I've never heard of a rape in a shower, but I'm sure it's happened at some point in time. Anyway, so when I get there, a partner of mine was already there. We ended up becoming cellies. Again, cellies several times throughout the years. We just clicked. We got along real fine. But he was telling me how, how the place was ran, and different things, and it was just different from all the other prisons. It was the same, but it was different. So one day I'm on the yard, and I see this guy, and I knew him from the walls, and he comes over to me, and he goes, "You was inside with me, wasn't you?" I said, "Yeah." And I said, "We really didn't talk much or anything." So we get to walking and talking, and he said, "What I'm doing is I'm looking for my key. If you lose your key or something like that, they charge you $100, because they claim that not only do they have to make a key for you, they have to make another key for your cell, and they have to get a new lock system and all this and that." So we're walking, and this guy was a thorough guy. I knew he was. I wouldn't have been really hanging with him if it was the case. We're walking, we're talking about old times inside at the walls and stuff, different things that happened. Do you remember this? Do you remember, some of it we was laughing and joking about. Some of it we was just like, man, that was bad, excuse me. Just different things we was talking about. And all at the same time, we're falling back the places he's been, looking on the ground, see if we could see his keys. When this guy comes up, says, "Hey, are these your keys? Do you lose your keys?" And he said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, I'll give them back to you for $60. The guy says, "Why don't I just beat your ass and take them back?" And the guy said, "Oh, I was just playing." And he gives the keys back to the guy, But they would try things like that, you know. If you lost your key, maybe they even steal them. Who knows? And then they try to sell them back to you. One of the things that people I knew that hadn't been down a long time or hadn't been in the places I've been, that I tried to tell them was about how they wore their keys on them. People just didn't put them in their pocket because they was afraid they'd lose them. So they had these like lanyards, like these cords that you could put your key on and put it around your neck. And everybody I messed with, I told them, don't do that. You know, that's bad. Well, where am I supposed to do it? I had mine on a lanyard, but I had it stuck in my waistband. And I said, well, you know, so what if you have a beef with somebody? Somebody just come up and choke you out. You know, that's a weapon. You guys walking around here uh, with these around your neck, it's not good if you get into it with somebody. People don't think about things like that. It's the same thing. I never left the cell unless I was going to the shower with my shower shoes on, flip flops. You know, in prison we call them shower shoes. Anytime I left the cell and I wasn't going to the shower, I had my shoes on, my boots. And I'd see young guys walking around the wing, sitting at tables, playing cards with just their shower shoes on, these flip flops. And I'd tell them, you know, I wouldn't tell everybody that, but I'd tell guys, you know, that I hung around with, don't be doing that. You know, if you get into it with somebody, it's going to be a disadvantage. But they wouldn't listen. And one day, guy gets in a fight in the wing. He has his shower shoes on. And it ends up that he had one shower shoe on and one barefoot, so he kicked the other one off. And he's still trying to fight. And he wasn't doing bad at first, but I wouldn't say he lost, and I wouldn't say it was because he didn't have shower shoes on, but I think if he'd had regular shoes on, he would have done much better. He may have still lost, but he would have done better. But the funniest thing I saw was it got to where people were sagging. You know, sagging is the thing in prison. One thing about sagging is people need to know where that came from. You know, it's like the gays in prison used to advertise by having their pants pulled down. That's where that originally came from. Like it or not, people, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but that's where it came from. You know, they're saying, hey, I'm available. Anyway, it's like a trend now in prison, and even out here it is. But it's bad. Not only do I think, in my personal opinion, do I think it just looks bad. It can be bad if you get in a fight, and I'll give you an example of that. There's this guy that, because you know you're not supposed to sag in prison, they got a rule against it, and they can write you up for it. So this one guy would put on 2 pairs of state pants. He'd have one pulled all the way up, and the other one on the outside would just be pulled up past his knees. And he walked around like that. Personal opinion, it looks stupid to me. Just, you know, but that's just me. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But he gets into it in the yard with a guy and could not fight because he kept falling down, tripping over his pants. Guys, going to prison, you need to think about things like this. It's not cool to walk around. It may be cool around out here to walk around with your shoes untied. It's not cool in prison. These, you know, there was a guy that I ended up working out with, and I helped him learn German. We did a lot of things together, and he told me he got caught because his shoes was untied. He used to run around with his shoes untied, and anyway, he robbed this convenience store, and he actually robbed it with a broken pellet gun. And I hope he don't mind me telling this story. He's he's still in prison, but he's about to get out, and maybe I can have him on the show sometime, on this channel sometime, and interview him, and he can tell the story. You can hear it from the horse's mouth. But anyway, the cops were already in the area, so I guess they pushed a button or something in there. Anyway, as they're leaving, cops pulling in, he takes off. His friend is still in a truck. He takes off, runs behind the convenience store. They chase him, and it's at nighttime, and he throws the gun, and he's running for all he gets, and he trips over, steps on his shoestring or something, and trips and falls down. And that's how they got him. And he laughs when he tells this story. He goes, "It's stupid." He goes, "Now," he goes, "I make sure my shoes are tight." And he goes, I'll never do that again." And he tells other people walking around with their shoes untied. Some of them, their boots off of they'd leave them untied. And he'd tell them it's not good. And he'd tell the story about running from the cops, and then they'd tell him, "Well, we're not running from cops." And he goes, and they'd say things like, "I'm not running from anybody." He goes, "It doesn't matter. You get in a fight and you step on your shoestring, you're going to get down." He goes, "That's what happened to me." And some would listen and some wouldn't, But he would get so frustrated, people that he messed with, hung around with. He goes, "I'm trying to tell these people keep their shoestrings tied, He goes, and he'd kind of laugh. He goes, "It's bad. I know from experience." And I said, "I know. Guys run around out here with their shower shoes on too." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I listened when you told me that." He says, "I used to do that too. And as soon as you said something," he said, "I stopped." And but he said, "It's they can do what they want." He goes, "I'm just trying to give them a little bit of advice." And I said, "I know." But that's why, about the time I left Potosi, that's when I started trying to school young people coming in, on how to do time and stuff. There's some that come in, and they may be good people, but some things they did, is some of it wasn't necessarily bad. Some of it was bad, but I tried to school them, And I had this one cellie. This wasn't at Bowling Green though. He called me dirty. That was just his. It's like people saying, "Hey, dog." Well, he would say dirty. He called everybody dirty that he messed with, or "That's my dirty." And I never could get used to that. And I told him that, and he said, "Well," he said, "there's people around here who call me dog." And he goes, "I ain't used to that." Well, I told him, I said, "I only use it for certain people." I said, "To me, that word is used only for people that you've been to war with. You went to the hole with, you fought for, or with. I said, people that for a fact will have your back." I said, "And I'm not saying that you wouldn't have my back. I believe you would, but we haven't reached that point yet, and so you don't have to worry about me calling you that." I said, "Until we're on the same side of the fight, you have my back and I have yours, I won't call you that." I said, because people just throw that word around. And to me, it's more than that, you know. And maybe I'm just a little old fashioned, you know. I don't know. Some people say, well, it's just a word. No, it's not. Not to me, it's not. If you're my road dog, you better believe I got your back. You know. And sometimes I feel like I can call my subscribers my road dog. You guys got my back, and I appreciate it very much. But uh, it really means, like in prison, somebody that's going to stand with you, you know. And you can't find too many people like that in prison. And there's some nowadays that say they will, but when it comes down to it, they're on the other side of prison. You know, they're way away from it. So anyway, I was at Bowling Green a year and like 3 months, I think it was, and then they screwed everybody. Pardon my language, but that's what they did. Uh, Licking had level 3s and 4s in it. I think there was 3s in it, and they was told if they don't, that it was a level 5 prison, and they don't get level 5 prisoners in there, then they was going to be in trouble. So what they done, anyone who at Bowling Green who hadn't been there 2 years was being sent to, their level was being raised. They was being raised from a 4 to a 5 and sent to Licking. Those that had been there 2 years or longer were grandfathered in. So I had only been there a year and 3 months. And so me and several others got our level raised to 5. We didn't do nothing to get our level, custody level raised. They just raised our level. And even some staff member was mad about it. And I was livid. I mean, I was mad. You know, because I feel that to get your custody level raised, you have to do something to cause that. And if I'm guilty of doing something to get my level raised, that's on me. But don't just raise my level, you know. Anyway, they sent me to Licking, and that's where I'm going to do the next story. I'll talk about Licking, because it's going to be a long one, because I was there 12 years. But and it was only 25 miles from my house, so that was the one good thing about it. But when I first got there, it was messed up, and I ain't talking about the violence and stuff that, you know, I was used to that by then. It was messed up the way they ran the prison. So I'll talk about that next time. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed these stories. Some of them's kind of funny, but this one I told to not only entertain you guys, but maybe, hopefully not. Hopefully there's nobody watching it that's going to prison, but if there is, hopefully they'll take my suggestion and not wear shower shoes in the wing, and tie your shoes and all that, and don't sag. You know, if you go, all these things don't do. You know, try to do things that don't wear lanterns around your neck either. God, don't do that. Anyway, I hope you guys, the rest of your week is nice. Have a good week. Hope you're enjoying your time with your family and enjoy being free. And I'll see you next time.